Good evening. Tonight, across a huge and uneasy region where Arab Spring has long ago faded into something far more complicated. Today, there were anti-U.S. protests in no fewer than 11 separate locations. And, of course, this follows the initial explosion of violence in Cairo, where protesters stormed the U.S. embassy. Then that terrible lightning attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, that left the U.S. ambassador and 3 other Americans dead. First ambassador murdered on the job in a generation. And there are fears we are in for a period of violence and uncertainty aimed at this country and across a big region.
The protesters in Yemen set out to destroy the American embassy in Sana'a to punish an insult against Islam. Protesters climbed the perimeter fence, undeterred by Yemeni security forces who tried to keep them back with water cannons. The crowds pushed forward and managed to get inside the embassy parking lot, smashing windows, torching vehicles, using a forklift to do even more damage. This time, the U.S. Embassy was prepared. In Cairo, another embassy under siege. But Egyptian security forces are finally taking decisive action. Riot police battled demonstrators all day. More than 200 were overcome by tear gas. As the air burned with the stuff, protesters told me their goal was to get to the Cairo embassy and take vengeance. Why, I asked. Because the United States has insulted the prophet, they screamed. Repeated.
Fire, fall down, fire, fall down on us, we pray. Fire, fall down, fire, fall down on us, we pray. It's nice and simple.
You're alive, you came to face a broken life, and I say
Right now, Americans are overly focused on Al-Qaeda. If you're looking at Al-Qaeda in terms of people that are just going to get a bomb together and they're just going to set it off and kill a lot of people, then yes, we've had a lot of success. But if you look at the ideology of radical Islam as a whole, people who are even smarter than Al-Qaeda that say, let's not set off the bomb, let's get involved in the political system, the media, and education, then they're very successful and it's very expansive, including right here in New Jersey. And so that's something that I'm going to be talking about, because we have to be very conscious of the fact that this isn't a problem just limited to New York or limited to that horrible day on 9/11, that this is happening right here in the United States, and that it's not just about bombs, it's not just about shootings. That's just one technique that they use in order to achieve their ultimate goal, and they are being shockingly successful. For Israel, 1967 is today. They're looking at Iran developing a nuclear weapon, growing closer and closer, even going so far as to designate a certain area for a potential nuclear test. So this is something that the Iranian regime is looking towards, is actively working on, and they've already said what their goal is. It's the destruction of Israel, and ultimately over the long term, the triumph of their version of Islam around the world. But it's not just about Iran, it's about the forces of radical Islam, such as Al-Qaeda, and especially the Muslim Brotherhood, rising throughout the entire region and surrounding Israel and infiltrating into all areas of the West, including here in the United States. And so this is a threat that we need to be aware of, not just for the sake of Israel, but for the sake of Western civilization as a whole. And they are taking advantage of our ignorance on a daily basis. So the only solution that we have is to not be ignorant. And that's the point of this conference, and that's one of the reasons I'm coming to speak, so that the church can wake up, because if we take this thing head on, we can win.
'Cause I know you're alive, you came to face a broken life, and I sing to glorify